Okay, hello, my name is Bettina Kaiser and I'm 45 years old and I'm from Hamburg in Germany, which makes me a hamburger. And I came to Australia in the year 2000 to live here. And now I live here in Tempe with my husband John and my 5-year-old daughter Lucy and 2 cats. I wanted to change an environment. I was really happy actually I never wanted to leave Hamburg, and then I visited my best friend Katja in New Zealand, and she had met a Kiwi in Britain, and on the way to New Zealand I stopped in Australia. And on the way back again, and then I came again the next year, and then I thought I really would like to live here. So it was purely out of wanting to change the environment. Well, before I came to Australia, I did know nothing about Australia really. I did see photos of Uluru and kangaroos or something, but I really had no idea about the cities or life here. And I learned everything then when I was here, that it's kind of a modern society and the beautiful nature, and surrounded by a beautiful ocean. Yeah, it was not easy, and again I was pretty lucky. So when I decided I would like to give it a go and try to immigrate here, I was just under 30, and I had finished my arts degree with a master degree and worked self-employed. And so when I started the process, I realized it's a point system. So there's 2 things. I think each country has an allocated number of how many people can immigrate each year, and then they are picked by a process where you get points for your age, under 30, your education. So I had a master degree, your English level, so I had to do some advanced English test. I had to be checked for tuberculosis, all that kind of stuff. So I already get all my documents translated and recommendations and everything. It was pretty complicated, and just applying without knowing you could migrate cost like several $1,000s. This is Edna for my series Dogs on Doyles.
Following World War II, there were many factors that caused German people to want to migrate. In 2015, 0.5% of the Australian population were people whose country of birth was Germany. The German community constitutes one of the largest ethnic groups in Australia. 898,700, or 4.5% of respondents in the 2011 census, identified that they are of German descent. And of the total 5,640,000 total settler arrivals from 1949 to 2000, 255,930, or 4.5% of these settlers were from Germany. Following World War II, forced migration was introduced. Forced migration was a scheme introduced by the English government in 1944 to start to relocate the German population in order to further hold Germany accountable for the crimes of World War I. England's Prime Minister, Winston Churchill, stated, "The total expulsion of the Germans will be the most satisfactory and lasting." 14 million Germans were forced to leave their homeland. The White Australia Policy. The White Australia Policy was an act known as the Immigration Restriction Act. It stated that only European people could migrate to Australia. This was implemented as to ensure that non-Europeans couldn't enter Australia, as they only wanted European migrants. According to the policy, if you wanted to migrate to Australia and you were non-European, you had to complete a dictation test, and it could be in any European language. This made it exceptionally easier for German individuals to migrate to Australia. The White Australia Policy was implemented in 1901 and abolished in 1965 due to its controversial nature. After World War II, Cold War Germany began to form. The state of Germany was grim, with a quarter of housing destroyed, the economy collapsed, and huge shortages of food. Germany was divided into 4 Allied zones for military occupation. American, French, British and Soviet. Within the Soviet zone was the Berlin Wall. The huge historical events that had occurred in Berlin following World War II and during the Cold War would have been a major factor influencing Germans to migrate.
Australia is well known for its multicultural population, and with nearly 6 million people in Australia identifying as migrants, it's clear that without migrants, Australia's cultural community wouldn't be as vibrant and varied as it is now. Bettina, who we interviewed for this assignment, is an artist and designer. Her work is just one example of the huge contributions that migrants make to Australia.